into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. Monthly manga review time. Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 80. Gas versus Granolah. Part 2. Because they just can't be bothered to give it a real name the last few chapters. Joined today by my friends GB and Raysean. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing today?
I'm living.
You living, GB?
I'm living.
I think that's about as good as we could hope for.
I wish I would have said something as cool as that. You know what I mean? I had to use the old lame. I'm doing all right.
I'm doing well.
I'm going to say that I'm doing fly. I want you to edit that and take what I said out first and say I'm doing fly.
Okay,
all
let's
right. Like that.
Take two.
That's how I like them.
Take two. Raysean, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fly.
What does that mean? You're doing
flying in the clouds, man.
Like on a plane?
I feel like it sounds better than what I said before. We're going to go with that. Oh, I could have said I'm doing high. I'm doing high. Let's do it again.
Raysean, what's up, man? Raysean, what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing high.
Like weed?
Don't put that out there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm confused. That sounds like the ops right there.
You are not allowed to rip any more bungs, okay? It's a good thing we have our happy fun times here up in the front of the show because I told you guys before, the little pre-show conversation, like I'm all set with being like grumpy ass Dragon Ball man. It's like not good for my health, I don't think. Genuinely, the last few months have been, I don't want to say rage inducing because that's a stretch, but like every chapter I've read the last few months of Dragon Ball Super, I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is not ending well. I did an angry Twitter rant, a couple weeks back that I read on Twitch. That was the episode last week. I had some people reach out and be like, hey man, I agree with you. Good points on some of these things. And to those people, thanks. But I'm kind of all set with being angry Dragon Ball old man yelling at a cloud today. So I'm going to just ask you some questions about the chapter, and I'm hopeful that you will be the angry old men for me. Raysean, I know that you weren't really a huge fan of this chapter. GB, you said something interesting when we talked earlier today that basically said, I go in with no expectations so that way I'm not hurt, which, smart play, man. But GB, I'll start with you. What were your initial impressions of this chapter? Did they not exceed your no expectations?
Well, I will say this. The fight scene beginning, cool. Like that, I definitely liked how they kept some of the more, I guess, canon fight with everything, which we'll probably get into later. But the ending was a little, I think it was a little weird for me because I was just like that doesn't really make any sense. How does he I don't know. It was basically trying to say like, hey, here's their version of Broly.
Oh, with what the gas transformation ultimately looks like when he berserkers out.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, this just instantly reminds me of Broly, and I get it. You're trying to probably keep the hype up still, something like that. Because of course that's what Dragon Ball is. It's people get mad, people get new powers, and then all of a sudden they're unstoppable. That's cool. But it doesn't make sense how the fact that he loses control and then all of a sudden in a couple minutes, I now have perfect control over this. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you?
I don't understand what the wish is for this. If you're wishing to be the strongest in the universe and then somehow have just this reserve power inside of you, what the fuck did the wish do?
Get the scouter.
It made him strong enough to be able to control it. I think ultimately is what the explanation is.
Get the scouter.
So did he need the wish to beat Granolah? Like, say if he already had control of that power, could he have beaten Granolah?
If he, without the wish, but with that form, no, he wouldn't have been beating Granolah. The whole idea of Granolah still being able to beat Gas in the early parts of the chapter, which I agree with GB, it's probably the best part of the chapter, in my opinion. The physical
with the
action.
Techniques and stuff, I like that.
Yeah, and Granolah using like the clone technique and fighting with like more skill than Gas currently had, and they make those comments. That's probably the best part of this chapter. But once he loses, it gets kicked into the water, and Alec comes up and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, let me take those teeth off your head and unleash your inner beast or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Unleashing the inner beast, and then, like you said, like 5 minutes later, "Oh, never mind. I got control on it now. I'm good." But yeah, no, he definitely needs that wish in order to be able to be going toe to toe with Granolah. What'd you think of the chapter overall, Raysean?
I thought it was shitty, to be honest with you. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm more hyped to read the Naruto chapters that come out at the same time, so Boruto, than
Hey,
I am for Dragon Ball.
don't be talking shit on Dragon Ball like that.
I'm not trying to be like hurting on it. I just feel like this really okay. I go kind of what GB was saying, like the ending, him being able to just snap and control it real quick after just having like the flashback of fucking Bardock doing some bullshit, and then Ellen just saying some bullshit, and then he can control it. It's like the fuck. If it's this simple, this easy, like I'm just confused about how much more power this gives him on top of that wish. You know what I mean? Because like we already know Granolah was already struggling. Goku and Vegeta are already kind of like power scaled out of this fight. So like, what's coming next? Are we gonna bring in Frieza or like? I'm just confused. Unless we're gonna say we're teaming up together now, this is gonna win. I guess we can go that route.
This is how I rationalize it in my head while I'm reading this chapter. And as lame and lazy as it seems to have all of these things be only because of wishes on the Dragon Balls, like it's kind of lame when you think about it that way, but it's important to kind of keep that in mind. So Granolah is here, like we're going to, for all intents and purposes, second strongest mortal in the universe. He's probably, if Beerus or Whis showed up right now, Granolah is not holding a candle to them. Neither is Gas. But Granolah makes that.
Think so?
No, I think Beerus would Hakai his motherfucking ass right out of existence.
Okay, so you think Beerus is still stronger than Goku?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, I do. Why? Have you recently heard something about a YouTuber who tried to say otherwise? That's just me being a jerk.
I've heard arguments for both. So I mean, if you believe that route, I can understand why you could believe that route.
Yo,
especially for him to be able to train Vegeta and then Vegeta kind of be similar in strength. So I guess that would be a good example. But
the only people who think that Goku and Vegeta are stronger than Beerus at this point are like those power scaling people who are like, look at these feats that we've seen them do versus what we've seen people like Beerus do. Similar kind of playing field in a lot of cases. Like that's the kind of arguments that opinion would come out of. That kind of anecdotal evidence, I think for all intents and purposes of telling the story, we are still supposed to respect that hierarchy of, God of Destruction, the Angel Attendant, and Xeno, etc., on up through the pyramid. And I don't think any of the mortals are going to be. I guess if you think about a guy like Jiren, rumored to be stronger than the God of Destruction Universe 11. I don't know why we're going down this road, but doesn't matter because we're talking about strength imbued from the power of Dragon Balls. So, strongest mortal, Granolah in the universe. Gas then is made that by another wish. So Gas then goes up to like I feel like the person previous is like what sets your ceiling. Okay, so Goku and Vegeta were already at these enormous amounts of power before Granolah made that wish. So when Granolah gets that wish and that power imbued on him, he's pushed to a level of power just upwards of Goku and Vegeta. That's why he's able to, use things that look like Hakai energy or use instantaneous movement with like really no training or even like knowledge of what it is that he's doing. And that's comments that they've made throughout those fights together. With Gas, it's a similar kind of deal. So Granolah goes to this huge new level. Even like surpasses Goku and Vegeta. Probably not the best person for Granolah to be fighting because they're constantly breaking and surpassing their limits as well. You go to Gas now being imbued with that strongest in the universe power. And it's the same kind of rule. Like he goes just above Granolah. And if Granolah gets more powerful, it automatically by default kind of pushes Gas's power up, I assume, right? So that's why in the beginning of this chapter, when they're making comments about Gas is only not able to pin Granolah down because Granolah is like more capable and like skilled in the techniques that he uses and how he uses them. His experience is overcoming that strength gap that Gas now has on him. So take all that into consideration and then get to the unleash his, what do they call it? His inner nature. The scans earlier in the week called it instinct. And I was like, all right, great. Going back to that word. Cool. But
autonomous ultra instinct.
So I think the idea of unleashing the inner nature in the Vegeta race or whatever, when they do that, like they kind of just throw away all the inhibitions and the power just flows freely. And I think Alek's idea or his thought process was like, now that he's going to be the strongest in the universe, not only will this give him a huge power like increase because it's just like the natural nature of the form, but now he'll be in a position where he can control it because he's the strongest in the universe. I think that's, as lame as that explanation is, that long ass explanation I just gave you, as lame as it is, I'm pretty sure that's what we're meant to believe in terms of the form, what it does to push his power level up, and then how he very quickly gets a handle on, restraining it.
But I think how he said it was like, I think the whole race can do that.
Yes.
Unleash that power. So
yes, it is definitely heavily implied that Oil, Maki, Elect can all do that, unleash their inner nature thing.
So that at least tell you that if it came to a free for all fight, they might be able to handle Goku and Vegeta while Gas and Granolah fight.
Well, before we even get to the other heaters, what did you guys think of Gas's transformation in and of itself?
Well, when he first changed.
Yeah, they take that dumbass necklace, like the Broly homage off his head. OG Broly.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like how it looked?
I didn't like how it looked when he got all big and strong, kind of like Broly and kind of like Kale too. I didn't like that. I thought they were kind of going back to the past and not bringing any new ideas to that. Which I mean, they could have, because they've shown us that they can give villains different transformations, such as like Frieza, and you don't have to go the route to like Rage and Big Monster type shit. So
yeah, but when you look at it on paper, all Frieza did was just learn how to do or go Super Saiyan. Also, he had big tusks coming out of his forehead, so pretty fucking cool. JB, what'd you think?
What? Oh, all right.
What you got? Why? What's the matter, Raysean? You don't like the tusks? I like the tusks. I'm just kidding. I hate the tusks.
I'm like,
this is me trying to be positive, Kyle, today. I've not yelled once. I think I've barely used the F word at all. That's right. The F word, people. Doing good.
Go ahead, Raysean. Speak your mind.
Yeah. Raysean, did you have a follow-up thought on this dumbass gas transformation that none of us probably like?
I just feel like the ideas are like, okay, we need to get this shit out on Sunday. We're doing this Saturday night. Let's put this shit together. Like, I just feel like this is last minute thinking and it's just not really good. Like, even like what, I don't even understand what the tusks were really needed for. It's like we kind of bringing back some of the design for Moral into Gas now. Like, what is this? I guess. But all right.
I don't know. The little teeth on the forehead meant to work as like a dampening device to the big tusks coming out of his forehead.
I just feel like that should have been done. I feel like that should have been released earlier. Like, we should have known that earlier. That should have been just brought up now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like what they're alluding to with the 40 years ago shit. GB, what do you think?
So to think back, because when I was looking at this and now when you're talking about the whole, like how his evolution is and such, so their whole race can do that. And when I think about like how it's sort of their primal instinct, when I thought of the word primal, I instantly thought back to like Mayan period, like periods of like first civilization, so to speak, right? Like, for example, when you're a caveman or things like that, like how they had like as trophies or things like that, they had like tusks of a mammoth or things like that, you know?
Yeah. All right. So like that helps like invoke that primal vibe that he's meant to have. Yeah.
Right. Now with that, I thought, okay, that's kind of smart. Now, does the transformation feel like it was necessarily needed, or does it feel like, as in for the story to progress and go forward, does it feel like it's actually helping? The answer I would say is meh. I agree with Raysean that we should have seen something like that. Now, granted, of course, I think they're trying to leave some sort of I guess you could say some imagination to the thought, to the mind. Because one thing I think I called maybe 3 chapters ago was the last time I was on this. Maybe 4. Was
Shut
that
up,
we
man.
get
I don't
some
think it's,
flash.
first of all, it's not been that long. I think you missed 1 or 2 months tops.
I think I missed 2 months. So
Second of all, why did you miss those months? It wasn't because you weren't called, it was because you weren't available.
no, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't calling you out or anyway.
Okay, that's what it
I was
sounded
just
like.
more saying. I was more saying that I wasn't there, so I couldn't say what my thoughts were.
All right.
But I remember the last time that we talked, I said that we'd probably get some flashbacks of Goku fighting whatever his name is, and it would be like he does a move and it's Bardock.
Was that you who called that? I thought that was Hayden for some reason from the
I think it
Dokkan
was
Wen.
either Hayden or me, one of the two. Either way,
I think it was. Oh, was that the last time you were on with Hayden a couple months ago?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So, all seriousness, I'm like 90% sure Hayden called it out because I remember he said it and I was like, "Oh God damn it, that's too good for them not to do." And then, sure enough, they did exactly that in this chapter.
So Hayden, if you're listening to this, man, you were right, and I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was taking your idea. I wasn't. I just have a bad memory sometimes.
Me too, but don't worry, Hayden. I'm here to keep him honest. Cha.
Yeah. But honestly, like, I feel like it's something that's, of course, really good to use because, like you said, it's too good of an idea not to use.
Yeah, it's actually kind of frustrating how they ended up doing it, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but I think the form itself could have been a little bit different. I feel like maybe it could have been something more with his name, because what's his name? Alec or Gas?
Gas is the
Gas. Okay.
Yeah.
So Gas, I feel like, he should have like maybe a bigger body, not like more like a buffer, but just like taller, just a little bit taller, probably looks about the same. Maybe when he rips off like his tunic wear or whatever, you see like holes. And it's like he lets out like a serious gas, I feel like that would have been smart,
Or his hair turned into like fire.
Yeah, something like that.
Why is it? I don't understand why is that his transformation though. It's like, let's just make him taller. Now he's 7 foot instead of 6. Okay.
What I dig about this transformation is that, or I don't know if I dig it or not. What I think, I'm happy about how it ultimately played out though. He transforms, gets all berserker rage, Broly type, smashing people's faces into rocks and stuff. And by the end of the chapter, he gets a handle on it again, and he's back to his adult Gas form where he's still pretty tall, but he does look like he's packing like much bigger muscles and ready to whoop some more ass. So I like that it's ultimately just a temporary transformation and that it's kind of just there, I think, to show us all the inner rage and hidden power and blah, blah, blah that Gas has underneath that he is now actually currently in control of. And that elevates him further as a threat,
I wonder if it's going to like change his personality and make him think he like bigger than Elect. Like, if he's going to be like, Elect can't control him once he gets to that point. I wonder if that's going to be like a major
Elect
thing.
all things with Gas seem to go through Elect. So yeah, I wonder too.
I think that there is going to be a point like that where Gas is going to be like, oh, like I'm big dog. Like I'm powerful. I can literally destroy Gas, or sorry, I can literally destroy Elec right now. Because maybe Elec is like, do this, do that. And then like Gas is about to like, do a final blow to him. Like, who do you think you are? You can't talk to me. I'm stronger than everyone. And right when he does that, we maybe find out that instead of the wish being on Gas, it's on Elec.
So all right, I have a similar kind of theory working in my brain, right? So
I've been thinking that for a while.
Can I twist? I got.
Go for it.
I think what can happen is Gas tries to go and try to like destroy either like Goku or something, and like Alec is going for Granola's going for Alec, and he might tell Gas to go for him, and that might start the confrontation right there. That's just my idea to add on to that.
So I think the last couple of months we've all been thinking that Alec is going to make another wish on the Dragon Balls after what he did to power up Gas in the last wish, right?
So, no, I'm saying that mainly I think he actually quoted to them saying, yeah, I told it was for Gas, but really it was for Alec itself. So Gas thinks he's the most powerful.
Oh, so you think this is all just like a head game Gas is playing with himself? I don't think that's the case.
Or that Alec is playing with Gas.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah, right. So I don't think that's the case. But I think they made the wish for Gas, right? He's currently the strongest. We all thought, all right, Alec has some other business to go attend to. And then he's been off screen and since then, and he reemerged in this chapter today when he like pulls Gas up out of the water after Granolah counterattacks him. And he's like, get stronger, unleash your instincts, blah, blah, blah. He powers up. Alec only shows up to help unleash the monster and then help put it back in its cage afterwards. But he does say one thing when they try to get Gas to take on this inner instinct form. I think it's Maki or Oil. I forget which one's which. I think Oil's the dude. Oil's like, this didn't go so well for us 40 years ago. And Maki alludes to the fact that, like, when they make this transformation, it's not good news for us, right? So that's the only two times that we see Alec. And at that point in time, Alec makes a comment like, yes, Gas is currently the strongest in the universe. And like I took notice of the word currently, and I'm like, that's a weird word to throw in there.
He basically did that to make him kill himself?
No, I think he's been off fucking screen making a second wish
doing some shit
that we're meant to forget about. And then we're going to find out in a chapter or two that, like, once if I don't know, Gas fails or whatever reason, and they're like, haha, now we're the strongest. And Alec's like, actually, well, you guys were busy an hour ago. I made a wish to Rambo, and Rambo the dragon said that I will be the strongest starting in 40 minutes or whatever. I gave myself 40 minutes because I wanted to know.
My thing is, he wouldn't even need to make himself the strongest. He just need Gas to die. So why wouldn't he just wish for Gas to die?
How's he going to kill Gas, bro? Well, I guess with the Dragon Balls again?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, man. Gas had this wish made on him to make him the strongest. We're not aware of any, like, negative repercussions if there are any for him. Like, maybe that was just a Granolah thing. If it is just a Granolah thing, that's a big missed opportunity, and the caveats of this Dragon Balls set. So I don't know, overall I'm a fan of the idea of the transformation. I'm glad it was just a quick one-off. They'll get their action figure out of it, and we're now very clear on the idea that Gas is much stronger than he was at the beginning of chapter 80. So any other thoughts before we move on?
I have this random thought, and this could be like going off of what you said, like maybe there's some hidden second wish that may come out in the next 2 chapters or so. Just a random thought. Like, this is completely random. Something that's always talked about with everything in Dragon Ball. It's like, oh, when something's going to happen, oh, do you think like Goku and Vegeta are going to fuse? Or do you think this person's going to fuse or whatever? What if Alec knows about, or what if he's like, I want to be able to fuse somebody with me, and makes Gas and himself fuse like a permanent fusion, not one that has a timer BS, but something that gives him a power up where he's still they're still both kind of like a Potara or just a fusion dance.
Before it was retconned,
yeah, just have it be like, this is a permanent fusion now, and he's stuck that way for the rest of his life.
I could see that, because I could see Gas doing that voluntarily.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see a situation where Alec doesn't ultimately try to make himself or put himself in the safest, best situation. Like, I imagine he's done something backstabby.
I think he wants them to kill each other. I think he wants them Gas either kill Goku, Vegeta, or them to kill Gas, and then him pull out his hidden ace or some shit.
The interesting thing about Gas's transformation too is when he loses control, he whoops the shit out of Granolah. Bunch of cool Broly homage, crashing his face through the rocks and all that. Absolutely kicks the crap out of him. Again, the action in this chapter is what made this chapter tolerable to me. And I don't know, tolerable is the best word I can think of, because the word I really want to use, I'm not going to use, because I'm not being angry today, because you guys are supposed to be angry for me. So anyway, he whoops the shit out of Granolah. Yeah, gird up, baby. But he also, in his rage, like attacks his siblings as well. Kicks Oil and Maki, and I guess
it's like he's out of control.
Yeah. So, so I'll ask you this question first, because the question I was going to ask kind of ties to Bardock. So, he kicks the crap out of Granolah, gives a pass and ass whooping on his siblings, and then he goes and kicks the shit out of my boy Vegeta-sama. And I didn't think much of it when I read it. I was just like, ooh, that sucks. But like, a lot of people got very bent out of shape that Vegeta was the guy who got kicked. I didn't think it was worth thinking about, but did you guys feel one way or the other on Vegeta getting kicked over Goku or Minato?
They needed a reason to pick Gas right next to Goku. And that was really the only reason. If he kicked my Naito, he's dead. So, I mean, at least Vegeta had a chance. They needed a reason to make them two right next to each other. So that's the only thing I can see. I thought you were going to see, I seen some memes where people was like, he kicked the finger off Vegeta. And I was like, what? And it was like some scanlations where you can see it look like he has 4 fingers and it look like he has 5. So I'm like, I don't know if people editing this shit or what.
You say scanlations? That's fucking sick. Hey, by the way, you are 150% correct. That's why Vegeta got kicked. It's not because Toyotaro and Toriyama hate Vegeta or hate Vegeta fanboys. They needed Gas to get next to Goku. Yes, you simplified everything for me on that. GB, are you okay with Vegeta being the one to get kicked? Do you live in the world of rational thought, or what?
I do live in the world of rational thought. And of course, being the person that I am, knowing that, of course, I've told this numerous amounts of times, I am a Vegeta fanboy to the day I die. Woo! Vegeta will always be cooler than Goku.
Yes.
Even though, yes, Goku has his moments, which I'll admit, there's times where I go from back to forth, be like, you know what? Goku looked kind of cool. But then it's like, oh, you know what? Vegeta looked badass. But
remember that time Goku came back to Earth dressed like a friggin' dumbass, and then he met this dude with a sword and was like, okay, yeah, we'll sword fight, and then he just used his finger? That was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's like, it's things like that I'm like, this is really cool. But yeah, no, I was like, at first I was like, my pride, my Vegeta fanboy pride. But I was like, you know what? That makes sense though, because this whole thing has basically been like tagging in and out. Goku, Vegeta, Vegeta, Goku, Goku, Vegeta, Vegeta, Goku. It's like, it's literally like playing the song where it's like, okay, next up is Vegeta.
Yeah.
Now it's Goku. Now it's gonna probably be the old Namekian who's gonna die at some point.
Yeah, Goku's up next because, as we know, we're approaching the end of this arc in the next few months. So if it is truly the Goku show, which we all know Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super to be, they need to get Goku in pretty close proximity to the villain at this point. I imagine that Granolah will flame out from overusing his powers, and it will come down to the boys to figure out how to beat Gas and the Hida gang.
But you know what? Also, I think it also plays on the stereotype that Vegeta can take more physical damage than Goku. I feel like he's shown that throughout Dragon Ball. So that's just something else.
You think Vegeta can take more physical damage than Goku?
Yes.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit on that.
I think he can take more physical punishment. Like when he be taking ass whoopings, the same. I don't think Goku could take the same ass whoopings Vegeta be taking.
I mean, Raysean, if you remember from Dragon Ball Super, Tournament of Power, or Universal Survival Arc, or Saga, Goku threw a spirit bomb, and it got sent right back, basically,
Yeah, that's what birthed the Ultra Instinct, was Goku getting swallowed up by his own Genki Dama.
What about when Vegeta had no power fighting against him and like he literally taking all that physical damage?
That is true. I
And
will
literally
give you
coming
that.
up, getting up and getting up. Goku would not have been able to done that. I don't think Goku in that same state would have been able to do that.
Goku always gets up. All right.
At this point, I just want to see a Rage Vegeta or Rage Goku where it's like they're unblinded rage. You know, I feel like this is the only way that this chapter can or this arc, I guess, can sort of redeem itself. Because I feel like what they're doing now is giving us just a shit chapter or a shit arc. Well, I don't want to call it shit arc, but whatever. There was some good and bad. But want it to be so that like they're giving us a bunch of shit, right? But that these next couple of chapters we're going to be let in on something huge.
You know what I just thought of? Maybe they can say Vegeta can learn how to control his power, or like the master version of his power. Maybe they'll give him an upgrade in power or some shit.
It is worth noting that there is a panel of Manito healing Vegeta in this chapter, even though he does heal very slowly. Vegeta is on the mend, and I believe will enter the battle or re-enter the battle at a certain point in the next couple chapters. So
I know they'd be like, why do we only bring 2 sensu beings to these fucking fights?
They thought it was going to be no big deal, but then again, that's what they always think. So
that's what I'm like. I'm at least bringing a sack of them, because I mean, like Corn always looked like he'd be having like fucking piles of them. Like I'm at least taking me about at least 10 or 12.
Just to be safe.
You never fucking know. Especially with Goku, because that motherfucker fought for everything.
It's true. He also be giving out to his enemies and shit. He's like, here you go. Everyone needs to be on equal footing if we're going to have a fair fight.
Promise, so go away and do no more evil shit. Okay.
He just sends you being safe travels.
Goku type person, you'd be like, oh, now this... Are you on their side type shit? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just like how he's been. That's the one canon thing I think that we can always keep from ever since the beginning of Dragon Ball all the way up to this point. Goku has been that same person where it's like, hey, you know, I want you to, you're a good person. You're a good fighter. I don't want this to go to waste. I want to be able to fight and train so we can both get powerful.
True.
Or like, I want to beat you at your best. Yeah. I don't want to feel like I won unfairly.
I'm sorry. I want somebody like Nova Shenron, who's just like, you know what? I like the fight. It's fun. Let's do this. I want to be able to get stronger and I want to fight a formidable foe. Because that's the same thing Goku wants, you know? We need somebody like that. And I feel like whether we're going to get a Jiren Part 2 at some point or whatever it may be.
That would be a nice villain idea. I don't think they've done that. Another person that just wants to fight.
Vegeta. Cell. Frieza kind of to an extent.
I mean, yeah, but like somebody who is naturally just as good.
I feel like they had also other like schemes. I mean, someone that just wants to go out and fight the strongest. And that's what jerks them off.
That's the only thing that motivates their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody that is like Goku in a sense where they seem very similar.
Like if Broly was just let off leash type shit and was just able to just go through the universe and just keep fighting people and getting stronger and getting stronger and getting stronger.
Yeah, but just because he has that ability to continue to push his power level up doesn't necessarily mean that's his like motivating force in life. It doesn't get him out of bed every day. He doesn't get out of bed to go fight every day. He just knows. I'm just saying,
like that idea of like when he gets like rage and be going crazy and shit. I'm talking about like if we had someone that was like that, but their only motivation was just I want to fight the strongest to the point where like they want to fight Goku, they want to fight Whis, they want to fight Beerus, they want to fight the little dude Omni King. They don't give a fuck.
I think you just kind of loosely described what the plot of Dragon Ball Superhero is going to be, except with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, those androids, and they want to go, you know, even though they're quote unquote superheroes, you know, they want to go defeat other strong people out there in the world. And the other people on their radar now that they've caught so many criminals are probably going to be Gohan and Piccolo and Pan and all the Z fighters who aren't Goku and Vegeta on Earth. So I think you just described the plot of the next movie. Way to go, dude.
I would low-key like to see them interact with the other androids. But you know what I just thought of? Doesn't Goku still have the Omni King button? So he can end this at any time, and if he wanted to, type shit.
Yeah, I just hope that they don't do that because that's about as lazy as it gets.
I'm just saying, I mean, if it came down to it, motherfuckers talking shit, I'm like, what? Hold up.
So it kind of brings me to my last question. I guess, I don't know, man, like the Bardock part of this chapter this month. So Goku ultimately goes to defend Vegeta after he gets kicked in the goddamn face.
We gotta figure out his power level, Bardock's, because we gotta understand was he stronger?
All right, I'm glad you asked because I feel like I need to help some people fucking work some shit out. All right. There's a lot of dumb people on the internet who don't seem to. I don't know, man. I feel like everything in Dragon Ball is so common sense for the most part, and like they tell you what they want you to know, and so long as you remember it, you remember to implement it into what you think the next part of the story is going to do. You could pretty much predict fairly accurately what's going to happen. You know. Power up, defeat the villain, get strong or whatever. Like that's the kind of bad reputation that Dragon Ball has. But as bad of a reputation as that is for the series, there is a certain faction of fans who see some shit like this Bardock flashback today and get infinitely fucking confused and act as if it's like, some kind of like open door for a fan fiction like scenario to come into Dragon Ball where like, we need to ask Bardock how he defeated him. Let's get the Dragon Balls and wish him back to life to ask him this one question. And shit, or like, did Bardock use Super Saiyan against Gas? Did Bardock use false Super Saiyan against Gas? Like, bro, false Super Saiyan is not a fucking real thing. It's a real thing in one fucking movie. Like, to even suggest it, it's just like, people just trying to make memes and get clicks. I get it. I'm trying not to be angry today, but Goku saves the Vegeta, blocks, goes to punch Gas. Gas has the flashback of a pretty nice, I'm not going to lie, like even though I'm not a fan of Bardock coming back into the story, the homage to the final Spirit Cannon move and what he ultimately goes on to do to Frieza or attempt to do to Frieza 2 days later, it looked really nice. But this is like the worst of both worlds in terms of this flashback. Like when I realized they were going to have to do a Bardock part 2 flashback to see how the battle ultimately concludes, I was like, another wasted month. All right, just chalk it up to some filler backstory of Bardock being cool. And the way they put this chapter forward this month, it seemed like they were leading to that. Instead, they just gave us about a page and a half, 2 pages maybe, of Gas just having like a PTSD flashback of Bardock stepping up to the plate and putting his ass down. And that was it. And it's left a bunch of questions in its wake that, I don't know, I feel like you can kind of reason out in terms of common sense, but the biggest thing that's come out of it is what you asked at the top of this rant, Raysean, was Bardock as strong? How strong was Bardock?
You know
then?
why? It's because of how they did Granola's transformation. If he didn't get the wish to become the strongest before they showed us the beast transformation, it would be easier for you to like scale him down. Because now when you're thinking about it, it's like, did the beast transformation is it a transformation on top of being the strongest in the universe? So is he stronger than the strongest in the universe now? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he a tier B above?
So he already was the strongest, then he gets this transformation, becomes even stronger. You seeing that in the present time kind of undercuts what it did in the past. Or maybe not undercuts, but actually it makes you overestimate what it did in the past.
That's what it is. Because it's making you think like, God damn, like it's making you think how much power does that transformation actually give Gas? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because without really knowing that, you can't really tell how strong Bardock is.
But you can still reasonably imply from what we know, 40 years of time, Gas felt humiliated back then, has trained super hard ever since to never lose a battle since. now has had the Dragon Balls give him the power of being the strongest in the universe, also has a, this new transformation on top of it all. Present day Gas is obviously worlds above what Gas in the past did. This is where, that's the answer. Bardock, strong enough to beat Gas back then. Okay, Gas is a different person now. Bardock is in no way, shape, or form on the tier level, same stratosphere, galaxy, universe of the power of Bardock, Goku, Goku, Vegeta, Granolah, these current day players. Okay, Bardock is, long gone in the past. Okay, but this is what
was he actually stronger than him, or did he stun him? Did he just make him stop? Because Gas is not dead.
This is what makes it confusing, is we don't get a full view into the flashback. We just get the Spirit Cannon little homage panel. We know that Bardock gets away because we know that he goes on to have his Frieza rebellion very soon thereafter. But everybody in the present day, when they allude back to 40 years ago, when he lost control in this form, it was bad news, man. You lost all control. We have to assume he attacked his siblings back then as well. When Naito got so scared, he passed out and shit his pants. He doesn't remember what happened. The only person who might remember, the he doesn't remember what happened, but I guess I just don't understand why they make such a big deal out of the sense of control that he loses and how savage and crazy he goes.
He must have killed a lot of people.
If Bardock was able to put him down fairly easily, it seems, but that's the thing. We don't know that it was actually an easy fight. That's kind of just what my brain is filling in because they only gave us a panel and a half. If they're going to give us the Bardock flashback, do it properly. Don't try to condense it in, I guess, into 2 pages or whatever, and hope that it's going to alleviate a lot of questions. It caused more questions than it answered, I guess. I don't know.
You know what I'm thinking? It has to be one thing about that transformation. It couldn't have been stronger than Frieza, because if it was, they would have been challenged him. So that's one stopgap we do know.
Yeah, it wasn't strong at all. It couldn't have been strong at all because Bardock is just supposed to be some douchebag. I hate. I feel myself shifting into angry mode. I hate what Dragon Ball Super has done to Bardock in terms of giving him the more implied importance than what he actually was meant to have. The beauty of Goku is that he came from a couple of fucking nobodies on planet Vegeta and goes on to become the universe's strongest warrior. But the more you tell me,
fuck Gohan, fuck his foster dad, mom, they never get the credit.
But the more you tell me, Goku is great and his dad was a really great, strong warrior fighter guy too. It's you're just diluting what Goku's about. So yeah, Bardock is not stronger than Gas in the current day. They're not going to wish him back to life. They're not going to channel the fucking Ouija board spirits to ask him advice on how to defeat Gas. If I had to guess, he cheap shot at him with a spirit cannon and ran away or something like that. But we don't know. We don't know. I must have been strong enough to survive, I guess. So that's how strong he was. You guys feel any kind of... I feel like I'm still somehow the angry one today, even though I told myself and you guys and the audience at the beginning that I wasn't going to be the angry one.
Well, man, it's hard not to be angry about this chapter, but I thought of a good plot twist. What if all of this is all controlled by Gohan, somehow? Shit. But that's just my little fan theory. But
how fucking high are you, man? You can't smoke weed before these shows anymore.
Now I'm just saying, wouldn't that be lit though? He was like, you know what? I want to give all this credit to fucking Bardock. Fuck y'all. You know what? I'm gonna bring someone in to just beat your ass, Goku, for a few chapters.
Which Gohan are you talking about? Grandpa Gohan or Son Gohan?
Grandpa Gohan.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Grandpa Gohan.
And by Son Gohan, I meant the Son Gohan, not Son Gohan, who's also the Grandpa Gohan. You all know what I meant. Yeah, he's dead, man. I don't think that's happening. You think he's pulling strings from the afterlife against his adoptive grandfather's dead son or dead father, who is also in the afterlife, presumably in hell?
Seemed like he didn't forget about him, type shit. No.
Goku forgot about Grandpa Gohan? No, he didn't. He just found out about his dad like fucking 20 minutes ago. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh yeah, wish I could tell you about him, but I don't know. Whatever. I was raised on Earth. Goku fucking rides and dies, or would die, with Grandpa Gohan over Bardock every time.
I feel it. He'd probably take a bullet for Master Roshi over Bardock.
No, maybe, probably. He has like actually a tie and a sentiment. The only reason that Goku would recognize Bardock is because they look exactly the fuck alike. He wouldn't even recognize Bardock. He'd be like, yo, you look a lot like me. What's up with that? And they get to talking and be like, oh, wow, we're related. Weird.
I don't know why, but I would kind of like to see what that reaction would be.
I'd like to see it from the side of Bardock. The side of Goku would just be like, oh, cool, you're my dad, huh? Goku doesn't care. Bardock, on the other hand, to see his reaction to his son becoming the guy to go on to defeat Frieza. Yeah, that's a moment you want to. That's the reason why people, make that fan art of the two of them meeting. My son defeated Frieza. Like, yeah, no shit. That'd be a great moment to see. But I don't think Goku would care, man. He'd be like, hey, you're my dad.
He'd be like, let's fight.
He'd be like, yeah, you strong? He'd be like, probably not as strong as you. You're the one who defeated Frieza. He's like, yeah, I defeated Frieza like 20 years ago. You telling me you're not even strong as that guy was back then? Get the fuck out of here, bitch. I can't believe I wasted a Dragon Ball wish on you. You suck. Kick his dad's ass back to hell. I don't know. Bringing in Bardock for the sake of fan service has complicated this story infinitely. Started off in a very promising place. The idea of Granolah being assassin sniper man, the idea of some kind of intermediaries between Frieza and what he does in reselling planets. Interesting. And it's just like, well, those guys that you thought had an interesting setup to what they were able to do, they just take teeth off their head and then they transform into big berserker rage monsters who will smash your face into rocks. So hope that's the twist you were expecting, you fucking weebs. And by the way, Frieza's not showing up. Fuck you. Goodbye. Also, there's only 2 Dragon Balls. And we have no ideas left, so we just use the Dragon Balls to wish our villains into being the strongest because we can't figure out any other ideas on how to justify it.
I feel like they have to go to another universe in the next arc.
Yeah,
like you literally have to. I'm like, unless you bringing down God level threats. I mean, saying threats beyond gods of destruction. Like, I don't know.
I said it to you. I said it to you the other day, Raysean. Like, we know this thing is wrapping up in the next few chapters, but the only way I could see them sort of salvaging it is if this chapter ends in a way where it's like, okay, this is the end of the quote unquote Granolah arc. Like, Granolah dies, say, in the March or April chapter. And then after that, it's like, all right, we're on to the Vegeta arc. And that the next arc is like figuring out more about like Alec and the Vegeta gang and their race and gas and like Goku and Vegeta now having to overcome them now that they've been wished the strongest in the universe. Like, if that's the next arc, I'm actually okay with that because that arc could help to fix some of the holes or like dropped plot points and threads that we've had in this Granolah arc to this point. So if they gave us more instead of trying to wrap it up if they are just trying to wrap it up as quickly as possible, there's no way this arc is going to end in a very satisfying or clean way. But if they give it a little bit more time to breathe and help us figure out what these, third act villains in the Heaters, I mean, it's not right to call them third act villains, but Alec will eventually, I imagine, become the third act villain once they're done with gas and they have to overthrow them in Maki and oil. So I don't know, but if they do decide to do what you say, Raysean, and just go to another universe or something, I would love to see that just to fucking break up the monotony, GB, how you doing, baby? You're a little quiet.
Yeah, no, I was just listening. I was honestly just listening.
To all my deep, hot, sexy Dragon Ball takes.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. I'm pretty good. Shut up.
That's why I said, oh, yeah.
I'm going to bully you guys into agreement. Is it working?
Okay, like how your people bullied my people for years.
Listen, man. I already told you that was the rich Portuguese people. My Portuguese people were not the rich kinds. We're the poor kinds. We didn't have no money for boats to put your people on to bring them across the Atlantic. We was too poor. We barely were able to afford fava beans. You get the hell out.
It's like, instead of having 3 slaves, we had 1. Okay, I understand.
No, man. We were like the guys who, if the slaves had shoes, maybe we shine the slave shoes, but we know the slaves didn't have shoes. That's a bad example. We gave the slaves
So you say
haircuts.
y'all was forwarding the slaves down? Okay.
No, we were in the service industry, baby. We didn't own no property. That's my point.
Oh, I thought you said y'all was shoe shining the slaves. I was like, okay, get out of here.
I was trying to figure out the equivalent of what that would be if slaves had shoes back in the day, but I don't imagine they did.
Y'all be foot shining.
Y'all be lotioning the feet.
Yeah.
Making sure they ain't asked you.
Just like sanding the calluses off the bottom of people's feet, dude. Oof. That's
get some lotion. Yeah, just imagine if you had Nikes on right now. Like
this is going uncomfortably racist real fast. GB's always down to bring it down that route.
You're welcome.
All right, so that's chapter 80 review, Gas versus Granolah part 2. I anxiously await the end of this arc. I anxiously await the return of the anime because doing a month-to-month manga review is not fun. It's tough to find things to talk about in the interim. That said, though, I think next week's episode is going to be a completely brand new thing that is not anime related pretty much at all. Me and Raysean and Kelly will be doing that recording tomorrow. And I think I don't think I'm going to hint or tease anything else on it because for all I know, we could do it tomorrow night and it could suck. But I still imagine it'll be an episode of Super Dope. So maybe we'll see what happens. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. We're trying to mix up some content ideas, maybe backdoor pilot podcast, some stuff. I don't know. What do you guys got going on? GB, how you doing? What's up with your podcast and content creation?
Well, podcast is getting sort of back to normal. We're just trying to find days to work out. Currently one of our podcast mates is having another child on the way. So I don't think he listens to this, but Jeremy, in case you're listening, congratulations, man. Father part 2.
Jeremy from the NPC pod. Congratulations, man.
But besides that, we're getting back on the regular scheduling. We might be having more featured guests than we anticipated from the beginning, but we don't necessarily know either. But we definitely, of course, love to have the Dragon Ball Super Dope, and of course, not only Dragon Ball Super Dope, but also Raysean on the NPC podcast with us. It'd be a very fun and interesting conversation.
Yo, me and Raysean should go on NPC pod so that way we can be like, yo, what's up? Where's all the friends? How you guys doing?
But also, I'm getting back to streaming, having some technical difficulties every once in a while. But hey, that's just the daily life of a streamer, I guess. If you're not having technical problems, then I guess you're not doing it right. But we're getting back on regular schedules. I'm actually doing these things. It's apparently every Sunday now, but we may be doing it every Monday or Tuesday, depending on how that goes. But we're doing a community day. Basically, it's having any of the viewers come in and we play games together. We play Gartic Phone. We play a lot of good stuff. We're trying to find more to do. And of course, Dragon Ball, Kyle and Raysean. You guys are more than welcome to come and join us at any time. Of course, I'm not going to be on it this time because today, well, I guess when it comes out,
because you're recording this with us right now. Is that what we're keeping you from community day?
No. It's because I honestly told him I wouldn't be able to anyways. I usually do some things on Sundays. So, but besides that, I also do edits every once in a while. And if you know someone who needs a good editor, refer me because I am trying to do some more good edits.
Hell yeah. Hit up GB for your editing needs. And also go follow him on Twitch. Because if he's not streaming on Twitch, I am sometimes a thing that will be streamed there instead.
Yeah.
The three of us got to get together for a Kung Fu movie very soon. Like doing it like I did one the other night. We watched the Ninja Swords of Death. Me and my buddy Feds. It was a good time, but like having a gang of people, I think, is the way to do it. We need like 3, 4, 5 people.
You know what we should give commentary over? I watched it yesterday and this shit was hilarious.
What was it?
1,000 Pound Sisters, or what is it? 1,000 Pound something? Oh,
a 600 pound life?
No, I think it's 1,000 pound because they add both of them up.
Oh,
and they got this girl named Tammy on there. She is hilarious, bro. She's like one of those, those people who be like, they be having disabilities, but then they be rude and angry. You be like, bitch, you need me to come over here and help you. What the fuck you got an attitude about? But she like one of them, and the shit be fucking hilarious. I don't know why, but I just think watching every episode and just everything that I wish I would, if it was me, like if she was talking to me, I would be like,
yeah, all set. Help yourself, asshole.
I wouldn't even be able to make it. She would have thrown me out.
Huh.
He would be like, oh, he's speaking his mind right now.
I know
like,
Twitch is going through like a lot of DMCA copyright shit. So like you gotta kind of have to be careful about
very careful.
Yeah, which is why I'm doing all those bad 70s and 80s kung fu movies that nobody wants to claim. Watching the dub versions. So like nobody wants to claim those. But yeah, I see a lot of people watching like reality shows and stuff like that, Master Chef and 600-Pound Life and shit like that. But yeah, but, if we could find like hey, GB, have you ever used? I found that you can do watch-alongs through your Amazon Prime account on Twitch. Have you ever done that before?
I was actually going to tell you about that. So I haven't done that, but I did see. I think there is a plugin through Twitch for that.
Yeah, there is. I haven't worked with it yet, but my question is. Do you still have a camera on when that happens, or is it just like you doing audio commentary over the top of a television show?
You can still have your video on it because I've noticed even on the Twitch front page, I noticed that people still do that. Sometimes they'll just get like, like how you do, get like a bunch of your friends to watch it.
Oh, you know what? I think the catch up, like I'm going to fucking put it on a hot dog. The hang up with that can be, I think Twitch makes sure that the person who's trying to view it, like one of our audience members or something, if they don't have an Amazon Prime account, then they can't watch the stream. I think is how it works.
That might be it.
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to try it soon. I'm actually in the middle of watching a good show on Amazon Prime right now called As We See It, about these 3 adults with autism that has comedian Rick Glassman in it. Fan of his. He's really, really funny. But also recently in his life as an adult diagnosed as autistic. So him starring in the show is pretty cool, and it's very well done so far. I'm about halfway through it. I'm excited to watch the rest, which I will probably do a little later tonight. But Raysean, what do you got going on in your content creation world, man? What are you up to?
I basically got about 3 or 4 more episodes in the pipeline that I'm working on.
What kind of shit, dude?
Collaborations. I got an interview coming out on the 26th with a book author. Already done a podcast episode with him before. His name is Justin Cho. So that's something to be on the looks out for. I'm hoping if I can get out of being a procrastinator, to make a YouTube video on something. I don't know what. I haven't thought that far ahead.
What about Dragon Ball GT Part 2, man? Me, you, and Josh it was before Christmas time, dude. You've had about a month.
Damn, don't throw me out there like that.
Hey, man, I'm just here to keep you honest and keep you on task. Like, I want to make sure that you're still, because editing sucks, bro. I get it. Like, you record a bunch of shit, and the last thing you want to do is re-listen to it, but what's the point of recording it if you're not going to put it out, man?
I feel it. I'm trying. My plan is to try to get that out within next week, in the beginning of February.
Ooh, you hear that, super dope listener? You get to hear me talk more about Dragon Ball GT. I'm trying to think. I know that I yelled at you guys like pretty hard in that episode at a certain point, and I don't think it was in part 1. I think it's in part 2, right?
It'd probably be in part 2.
Yeah, you guys kept pestering me about. Go ahead.
I'm hoping I can just put the rest of it all in one part and just make part 2 like about an hour and like 20 something minutes.
That's cool. So long as you keep in the bit about me yelling at you guys, because y'all kept coming at me like I was a Pan stan, and I'm not. But you guys just shit on her so much, I couldn't help but defend her. So yeah, if you want to hear me yell at Raysean and Josh from the, what's it called now? The Dad Mustache podcast, Anime Mustache podcast. Do you remember, Raysean?
Yeah, I think that's what they changed. They changed Dad Mustache. His name, I think, is Josh Hatfield. So
yeah, he's a good dude.
I fucks with him.
Yeah, he's sending me some good memes lately. Appreciate you, Josh. But yeah, part 2 will be dropping on Raysean's feed. Make sure you go check out the R Gap podcast and GB's podcast, the NPC pod. Follow him on Twitch at GB3Dits. It's like edits, but with a 3 instead of an E. You know what I mean? What else? Follow me on stuff because I make stuff too. Kung Fu Fridays on Twitch. I think I might do another stream of consciousness Dragon Ball Twitter rant on Twitch soon. It actually might be a Facebook rant because by that I mean I'll be going through some Facebook groups I'm in and just yelling at some fucking Dragon Ball nerds that I absolutely can't stand. Debate bro Dragon Ball culture makes me not want to like Dragon Ball. It makes me mad at myself for liking Dragon Ball. But I like the same things as some of these people. So I think that's the beginnings of my next little rant. So go follow me on Twitch if you want to see that shit happen live in the next week or so. I don't know when. We'll figure it out. Twitch.tv/SuperDopePods. Rate and subscribe to the show. 5 stars, please. If you're a Spotify listener, you know what I mean? There's a rating system there. Help me out, please. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm done now. Boys, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you and your time and your insights. Man, I'm done talking like that now. So I'm going to sing a song. Ready? Bardock hand and ass whoopings all the time is what I'm meant to take away from this chapter, I guess, because I'm a poorly informed Dragon Ball fan who can't put together a couple pieces of logic, and that 40 years of time have passed and Gas actually has gotten stronger since he fought Bardock. And no, they were not able to fight Frieza back then. And yes, you are a dummy for even thinking about something like that, Mr. or Miss Super Dope listener. I'll talk to you next week. Please don't take it personally that I called you dumb. I love you. Bye. Super Dope. Wow. I'm out of breath.